Antoine was just making fun of me. I found a barber I finally found a barber. You know that moment when you find a service that you're like, man, this is good, especially when it comes to hair, right?
Yeah. It's hard. There's a lot of, when you go out and you like, especially if you're not like from a place like, you know, when we go to barbershops growing up, you go to the same guy.
Yeah.
You don't go to another barber, dude. Don't go in that same barbershop and go to another guy at that barbershop. You'll get a fucking mean mug. God, they so territorial.
Like, what is it about barbershops that are, so there's like a whole subculture with barbershops, right? And like everyone's sitting in their chairs and like, so the place I just went to, and I'm going to highly recommend this place. So if you're in Virginia Beach, they're on the boulevard. It's called Get Faded 2. And the guy I went to, his name's Tony. They're all Latinos and they're playing salsa music and they're all like speaking Spanish. And it's like, it's got a cool vibe in there. I have no idea what they're saying. They're probably saying, look at this white guy being all like,
he probably can't dance.
Little do they know.
So tell us about your experience.
All right. So this is going to sound, I think it was amazing. So it's a full service barbershop. So last couple barbershops I went to, it's $35. They cut your hair. Peace out. You're done. So Tony sits me down. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. My hair is all like crazy. And he's like, I got you. And he's like, and I just want to get my hair cut. And he's like, do you want anything with this? And I'm like, nah. He's like, I got you. So he proceeds to cut my hair. And it's going really well. And he starts to trim my beard. It's going really well. And then he pauses, puts some lotion on my face. And then he starts massaging my face. And I was like, this is nice. So
my man massaged, like, you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it. So did he cover your face?
He kept covering my face, so he put the hot towel on there.
So you couldn't see anything?
I couldn't see anything. No. And
he started massaging
my face.
With his hands?
Not with his hands. And if they were his hands, he's got robot hands. And then when he's done with that, he starts massaging my chest, my shoulders, and my arms.
Are you serious? All right, dude. I'm never going to this. He enjoyed that shit way too much.
Once in a while, you got to pamper yourself.
You know, they had a sting on multiple facilities like this about 5 years ago here in Hampton Roads. So you might want to.
Oh my God!
Cash only, right?
Yeah, it was cash. Oh my God,
man! No, there's nothing like having. There's nothing like having that first time at the barbershop where they take care of you. You know, it's hard to find a good barber. Yeah. I love my barber, Big B Supreme over on Holland. He's the man. Welcome to another edition of the Alpha Geek Podcast. We're your hosts. I am still the the untainted Antoine Britt.
And I went to the dark side. For I have allowed myself to get the face massage.
Yeah, the face massage. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Oh, man. All right. Well, getting to some Disney news. To the topic at hand. So I released a little video yesterday just being a defender of the Skeleton Crew. And we've had some comments on it, and people have said it's garbage.
Yeah.
And Disney, you know, and I think the finale was a great way to close the show. So if they don't do anything further, it's great. Except Jude Law, I think, could enter the Star Wars universe as a permanent fixture. Yeah. He was great.
Yeah.
So without any spoilers, it was kind of not cartoony. It was a little bit childish, but it was Goonies / Wizard of Oz / I guess just kind of like a Goonies Star Wars or Goonies Wizard of Oz kind of thing in a Star Wars format. And I thought it was good. Yeah. I thought it was good.
And so I've heard the same thing about Jude Law's performance in the show, and a lot of people are kind of like going back and forth whether he has force powers or he doesn't have force powers. Like how does he feed into that universe? Because this is going on the same time as like The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
this is same timeline, same time period. So are we going to get some of that in? Because I know they do have a Grogu Mandalorian movie that is coming. Is there a chance that we see some of that, or there at least some sort of connective tissue between Skeleton Crew and Mandalorian?
So that's not clear, but I think people are hoping for that. And spoiler alert, Jude Law does have force powers.
He does. Okay.
He does have force powers.
Because he can manipulate metal, right? Is that like he's like Magneto, right? Is that what it is?
No, he was just using like his ability to levitate things. So like he was able to call the lightsaber to him, and the keys. I mean, maybe it was just with metal, but it wasn't. It just seemed like a regular force power.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, nice.
But he did. In the finale, say kind of like alluded to that he was an abandoned child that was found by a Jedi who started training him, and then when Order 66 was kicked in, that Jedi was killed. And so he, although you would up until episode 7 you'd be like, man, he's just a total villain. You can now see that because he was abandoned and he was just a child and he saw this horrible thing and had to raise himself. So he's not on the dark side, nor is he on the light side. So it's just, he's an interesting character. So, and he's able to wield the Force and he knows how to use a lightsaber, and not to Jedi, you know, he's not a master by any means, but yeah, but his portrayal of that character was fantastic. It was really well done. So
cool.
Yeah, that's why I made the video. I was like, man, it's people got to give it a chance. And like people are like, I think nobody's hating on it, but they're definitely saying that it's just you know, it's whatever. It's just vanilla, like so
well, yeah, I feel like there's a very like rigid line between the people who like it and the people who don't like it at all. And I think the people who don't like it are the really hardcore Star Wars fans who, if it's not like what we become accustomed to, they're not gonna like it. I.e., like Andor, Mandalorian people are kind of a little bit more accepting of that because, you know, Pedro Pascal and you know, that is such a good show, and that's more of a Dave Filoni and a Favreau thing, right? And so they are who we want to lead the Star Wars franchise forward. So I don't. Same thing with Andor. I watched Andor with the hope and the expectation it was going to be really good, and I was disappointed.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
I loved Andor. I think it was a completely different take on the whole Star Wars storytelling, and it was just that. It was more storytelling and character development.
Very street level, right?
Very street level. Yeah.
And while I do enjoy the street level stuff, I want aspects of something higher or something bigger that's going to happen. You know, just like, you know, like Spider-Man, like the best Spider-Man movies are the movies that are very street level. Like he has a suit, it's just spandex, you know, he has his powers, but at the end of the day, he's not like these big, he's not a Hulk or Iron Man or Thor that are really dealing with all these huge mystical components, right? And there's like, and because of that, there's bigger stakes. And a lot of people do prefer that. Right. But we do know in those stories that there is an Iron Man. There is a Thor. There is the possibility to see that. So even though it's street level, we still have the possibility to see something greater than that. And I think that's why people kind of gravitate to like Spider-Man as a character. But Andor, it was just like, I was like nodding off trying to, it was just not my jam. And I do appreciate why people would like it. You know, but just wasn't for me.
Well, you know, and you're not alone in that because the numbers and the viewerships show, although Andor was the highest viewed, I think, also with a huge budget. It's unfortunate because I think the fallout from the Acolyte has created disinterest in Star Wars, so that where Skeleton Crew has the least amount of views, and the fall off rate was pretty high. And the budget wasn't Acolyte size, but it was a pretty big budget as well.
Sure.
So I think a lot of fans who are YouTubers or are in agreement that although it was good, it's not good enough and it's not bringing people back in. And their confusion with, is it a kids show? Is it a show for adults? Is it agenda driven? Because there is some like agenda type stuff, not agenda, but some like messages in there, but it wasn't like in your face. It wasn't.
No.
So I don't know. It's I think it's great entertainment. It was good. I'd recommend it. Give it a chance, and hopefully Jude Law continues in the Star Wars series. So we'll see. But Andor, I know Andor season 2 will be coming out.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
When are we getting that?
That I have to look up again.
Okay.
It just slipped my mind.
I know we're getting it fairly soon.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's kind of like the feast that we're getting of content here, especially here at the very beginning of 2025 is insane. It's just so hard to keep up.
Yeah.
And there's just so much. When we did our top 5 list last week, there's one show that I wanted to add. I'm not sure if it's in my top 5, but I definitely wanted to give it honorable mention, and it was Castlevania Nocturne.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we're gonna get that, and that's just so good.
Yeah,
it is so good, man. And I've always I like anime and I like animation. And when I get, like, for example, they're trying to do a lot of more driven animation with some of the stuff that, like, the DC stuff, and I'm not sure how much I like it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like true anime, and I'm not even sure if you would classify Castlevania Nocturne as true anime, it just lands so well, man. It's such a great show, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing the second season of that.
While you're talking about it, I'm going to just pop it up on the screen here. So is this already out?
Yeah, no, this comes out, I think season 1. This is season 2. We're going into season 2 of it. Okay. And so I think it's this month, actually. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I believe they're fond of beheadings.
And it's such good. It's like the Belmonts are like the traditional, like their lineage goes back to hunting vampires for, hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
And the kid in the blue, he's like the Belmont.
Okay.
Right? And that's Dracula's son right there with the white hair, and so now they're like kind of working together to
attacked by an army of vampires and demons.
Dang.
Yeah, this is gonna be sick.
Good.
This is gonna be so sick, dude. And I just got excited just watching that trailer. And like the animation is just so good. The fighting aspect and the way that, especially, is like, with a vampire, I feel like it's a very like cool aspect to watching somebody watching something like this, an older vampire.
Yeah.
And the way they move is very like ballet, very smooth and very fluent, and like just to see that in comparison to the way that the Belmont character fights, where he's just very like sporadic and just very aggressive and very blunt trauma type of he just wants to do as much damage as possible, but also playing with that the mystical aspect of it too. So it's like it's so cool, man. I dig it a lot.
There's so much that people can do, or these creators can do with animation, like, and when it's interesting, like now that like they're doing real life, like trying to do with not Moana, the heck are they doing? Anyway, when they convert an animated series into
live action,
live action, it's just like sometimes, I don't know, it feels like it falls flat a little bit, but I don't know. Looks really cool.
They did it with Moana. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are doing a live action Moana,
and they're live action with, as well as Stitch, Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah,
is going to be a live action too.
They did Lion King. They did Mufasa. They doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is I asked actually my wife this question. Isn't it a lot more cost effective to do animated to live action films that are actually like people, like Hercules,
Right.
Just get a guy. You don't have to spend the money to CG to live action CG an animated character.
Yeah.
You know, just get a guy. Get Chris Hemsworth to do it or something like Hercules. There you go.
Seriously, like, and that's what they did with like Snow White, right? It's like they're not Snow White. Snow White's coming out.
Yeah, they're doing.
And like they're supposed to be live action, but yet they're still using CGI. It's like it's why even do it? Like, it's just weird.
I mean, but you can't in this day and age. You couldn't use little people to be dwarfs. They're not even dwarfs in this one. They're like they are the dwarf, but they don't call them dwarfs.
Right.
They call them are they imps?
Maybe
trolls or imps?
No, not trolls. They they got to be the dwarves.
They're not calling them dwarves though.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why can't they use little people?
Why can't they use little people? It's like, you know, everybody needs a job.
Everybody needs a job, yeah.
And they're little people in the original IP. It's like, just use some.
You're excluding a certain demographic of people. Like, why do that? And there's a lot of talented actors that are little people.
Yeah, 100%. But also, I think they might be a little bit too tall, unless you get a really tall chick to play Snow White.
Yeah.
Because even like a little person, I mean, you're talking about like 4'8" to 4'11", right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and with the average woman's height is what, 5'5", 5'6"?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
I feel like if you're gonna do it, you need to make them look small as fuck.
Like the Oompa Loompas from Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Hell yeah. They gotta be small because of, you know, I guess the original dwarfs weren't as small as on the animated. They weren't super
small.
That much smaller than Snow White.
They weren't sizes of Smurfs. But when it comes to going back to like Dracula and vampires, do you have a favorite actor that
Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
I mean, Blade, dude, come on, man. I mean, Blade as the Daywalker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just untouchable.
Yeah.
There'll never be and it looks like there will never be another Blade.
Yeah.
So if you had to like vampires, right?
Yeah.
So we got Blade. What's the kid from Twilight? Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah,
what was his name?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I think they were kind of BS. That wasn't a fucking vampire.
Yeah, that wasn't because they were like all like shiny and
they shine diamonds in the daylight and shit.
Like, that's not right.
Did I ever tell you this story? My Twilight story.
No.
My kid tricked me into going to that, taking her to that movie. She's like, "Dad, you want to take me to a movie?" I was like, "What are we going to see?" She said, "I don't know, but it's about vampires and werewolves." I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." And I walked into that. Oh man! But and then of course I was hooked, so I had to watch all of them. And you know,
he was hooked.
I was hooked. They ended up being pretty good.
Wow. My favorite was always Gary Oldman, and I think Gary Oldman plays a great dramatic character as it is already. From The Professional to his interpretation of Dracula was just so. Yeah. So I don't know. I appreciate it. That was my favorite.
What'd you think? Interview with a Vampire, Cruise. Who you got? Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. But there was a time I was super into all the Anne Rice books. I read all of the books, and I think that was the only movie, Interview with a Vampire, that actually made it, and they actually did a good job with, I think, the books. And my favorite character, Claudia. She, I forgot the actress's name that played that. Oh my god, she just was the epitome of what the book version of Claudia was,
because she was a little girl,
a little girl,
but
right?
She was like an old. I mean, she had to live for hundreds of years.
Yeah, and so when Lestat made Claudia a vampire for Louis, he broke all vampire rules because you're never supposed to turn a child, and for that reason, that they will never age and they will become super evil and I don't remember the complete details, but I know that was a rule. And so all the vampire people, when they found Armand in that Parisian cellar that they found all the other vampires, I think they wanted to kill Lestat because of that. And Armand was very much into like trying to bring in new blood and new vampires because he's been alive forever and he's never seen a young vampire. And so when it was Lestat and Louis and Claudia, they were all like, "Ooh, this is amazing, but we need to kill Claudia and Lestat," and they just wanted Louis. And that's why I think you see in the scene where they trap him in this well and then they just burn him alive. Or they let the sunlight kill him.
I need to go back and watch this movie.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I need to go
So
back.
good.
I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but I've never watched the entire thing. That might be what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. But then they try to do like Queen of the Damned and a couple other books, and it never had the power that interview did.
Queen of the Damned was Aaliyah. Aaliyah was Queen of the Damned, right? Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was received well, but it was never like Interview with the Vampires.
Yeah, I think it was received well because I remember like it because it was Aaliyah, and Leah was kind of like the it girl in R&B at the time. So that brought an audience to that genre that wouldn't normally watch it, but at the same time it suffered because you didn't have like a traditional A-list actor to play that part. You know? So I think you would have had somebody, I don't know who else was hot at the time when they made that movie, like 2000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a while.
Then who knows how well it would have done.
And like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt both played really great roles, and that just shows how really good actors they really are, because it's like it wasn't like, oh, it's Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. You really actually felt that, like when Tom Cruise was like in the chair at the very end of the movie and he was like old and wrinkly, and it gives me chills just thinking about the movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I think we'll watch that tonight. So we're looking for something.
Did you ever check out which Caddo Lake was on HBO?
It was on HBO,
HBO, yeah.
We're on Netflix looking for it.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Like searching.
My bad. But that's really good too. That's a cool movie.
Yeah.
I just had a thought about something.
We didn't get into it.
No.
What did we start watching? I started watching something else. And
we started watching 2 shows actually. We ended up stopping watching War of the Worlds. It just got kind of like crazy. It's on Prime, and all they do is like kill kids, and it's like it's kind of like, all right, we get the point, but they keep doing it. And Wendy keeps jump scaring, like she's just screaming. I'm just like, what the hell? So, but we went onto Disney Plus and started watching Goosebumps.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's good.
Is that the one with Ross from
Friends? Yeah. He's actually plays, it's good. And the kid, his son is the from Dead to Me, I think. I can't remember his name, but we just watched the 2nd episode last night, and it was pretty entertaining.
Oh, I thought it was a movie.
No, it is a movie as well, but the series just came out on Disney Plus, and I think it's a mini series.
Okay,
but it's good. It's good, worth the watch.
All right.
Yeah. So getting into some social news.
Okay.
If you saw Khabib go on your flight and you knew who Khabib was and he took the exit row seat, would you freak out? Did you see the drama about that? Like,
no, I didn't. I'll fill me in. I did. I saw like an overview of it, but I didn't really get into the story.
Come to find out that I guess they were now he was flying Frontier Airlines, and well,
that's your first mistake.
Right. I was like, why is he flying Frontier? And I think Dana White was ripping on him. He's like, why are you flying Frontier Airlines anyway? But I guess he's very I don't want to say he's cheap, but he's very wise with his money and whatever. But I guess the airline attendants or the stewardesses, they can't call them stewardesses anymore.
Flight attendant.
Yeah. Flight attendant were not comfortable with him in the exit row. And so because of his accent and the way he looked, I was just like, oh man, talk about racial profiling.
For real,
dude. So someone's going to get sued, no doubt, but they kicked him off the plane. And he kept his composure, kept calm, and he's just like, he didn't understand what was happening. Why are you doing this? And there's just like a short video. I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll try to pull it up here. But it's not the greatest video, but you just see that he's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the manager or the head flight attendant came over and said, my staff isn't comfortable. You have to leave the plane. We're going to get security. He's like, I don't understand what's happening. So I think the fight world and Dana White's like spoke out, and he's just like, Frontier Airlines is just garbage.
Yeah. Oh man, they're gonna, and it's so kind of to play devil's advocate with it. to have, first of all, to have such like the backing of a UFC when something like that happens, it makes all the difference. It's almost kind of going back to the thing with Tyreek Hill. I don't know, Miami Dolphins wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
He was arrested and pulled out of his car going to a game to play.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
He went up, and to be total fairness, there's some things he could have done differently.
Sure.
For this dude is driving to the game in a $280,000 exotic car, right?
Yeah.
And so he, who knows how fast he was. And all these players are going into the stadiums like Rolls Royce here, Lamborghini here, this there. So it's you got to assume that this is a player, right?
Yeah.
Pull him out of the car, whatever. And so they ask him to roll down this window, and for whatever reason, he rolls up his window.
Oh, yeah.
And now, so even though as a police officer, it's your job to de-escalate, ego gets in the way, dude, right? And these now like this motherfucker got to come out of this car, you know what I'm saying? So that all happened. And so kind of with that, it could have happened. It probably happens 100 times in Miami, right? But because this was Tyreek Hill, and he has like the platform that he has, and he has the backing of the NFL and his team. Now this, the Dade County Police, they're under scrutiny now, right?
Yep.
So same thing here. It's like Dana White, the UFC now. Frontier is really going to have to pay for this, figuratively and literally, right?
Yeah.
And but we live in a world to where when that happens, when somebody looks that way, talks that way, speaks that way, you have like post 9/11, post everything is going on. We have to, as a person, you're gonna take a second look at it.
Sure.
You're gonna like err on the side of caution, and if it means your possible safety, getting this motherfucker off the plane, then you're going to do it. You're not going to think about, well, what if this guy sues us? What if he is actually a terrorist, right? And not saying it's right because it's not right, but it's the world that we live in. So.
And the power of the podcasting and YouTube channels, Sean Ryan was interviewing a former CIA agent, and she was saying there are thousands of Taliban in the United States, and they are just waiting for doing an attack. And so there is a real threat and a real concern, to your point, to be like, well, we do all have to take a double take, because it's, we're such a diverse country, and you don't know. And unfortunately, it's like, if you look like the terrorists that flew the planes into the Twin Towers, we have to look at them. Yeah. But at the same time, it's Khabib.
Yeah, it's Khabib. But whoever this lady was, or whoever, a man or a woman, the flight attendant, they obviously didn't know it was Khabib.
They did not. And like, here's the video just so we can see it. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, I want to check this out.
Now you guys, because this woman don't ask the message, don't understand what she's talking about.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're either gonna have you switch your seat because my flight attendants are not allowing you to sit in the exit row, or you're gonna have to get off this plane and then we'll have to because they're not comfortable with you sitting in the emergency exit row. My flight attendants. And unfortunately, it is fair.
It's not fair.
Yes, it is.
You guys, when I was making check-in, they asked me, do I know English? Yes, I said.
And they said yes. I understand that, but it's also off of their judgment. I'm not going to do this back and forth. I will call a supervisor. You can either take a different seat, or we can go ahead and escort you off the plane. Which one are we doing?
We're gonna meet you.
Okay, I'll call a supervisor, and then we're going to have to rebook you for a different flight. Josh, do you copy?
Correct.
So is that a guy from his team sitting next to him, or?
Yeah, probably a training partner or team. So the first question I would have asked is like, why don't you feel comfortable with me sitting here?
Yeah.
Like, make her answer that question.
Yeah.
Because then there's no debate.
Yeah.
Right. And then and there was a phone going, so then that would have been on camera. Right. And luckily he could have raged out. He could have got upset, which wouldn't have been good for anybody.
Right.
But so luckily he got off the plane and, he cooler heads prevailed. But man, it's
wild
touchy situation.
Wild. And he handled, like, You could see that. You just said it. He just handled it really well, and he just excused himself from the plane. And within the hour, he got another flight, and he got to where he needed to go. So it was no big deal. But well, I shouldn't say it was no big deal. It was not really that much of a time or whatever inconvenience, I should say. But yeah, but I don't know. But I heard, now, I don't know if this is true or not, but was Khabib affiliated with the terrorists of 9/11?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see how he could be like fighting on American soil. Like so consistently.
Supposedly somebody was telling me, and it's just a rumor, and if anybody knows, like write in the comments, that in his fight camp was people that were associated with the people that attacked on 9/11. So, if you make everybody guilty for association,
guilty by association.
Yeah, you're getting, everyone's going to be guilty of something.
Yeah, for real.
But that was, no joke to what happened in 9/11. Like that is, I remember we were flying back from Manhattan Sunday from a dance competition, and JetBlue at the time would always fly, and they would just fly around the Twin Towers and dip, so all the people on the plane could get to see the towers. And it was unfathomable that here we are in an airplane, and we still are looking up at the towers. That's just how massive they were. So, and I remember Tuesday morning waking up to go to dance practice and turning on the news. Wham! There goes a plane, dude. That shook me to. Oh,
it was
man.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
I remember where I was. I was actually here in Virginia, obviously. But it was surreal because it was a nice amount of time between the first tower and the second tower being hit, right? And so we're watching the first tower, and you're watching like the smoke and everything, and I'm looking at it, it's like, is this real?
Right?
Is this some sort of stunt? Is this a movie being filmed? Is this like a hoax?
Yeah.
Whatever. And so if you saw that today, you would all like, that's definitely a fucking hoax.
Yeah.
Right? We have the ability with AI and all the shit to make that look like it's actually happening.
Yeah.
But back then I was like, what is going on? Like, it was almost like my mind couldn't grasp that was happening.
Nope.
And then when the second plane hit, I was like, oh shit, this is
Is for real?
Yeah. Do I have family in New York? Like that was
That's crazy.
And at the time I had a bunch of training partners, that were, that lived up. We cross-trained with guys up there. And so it was eerie.
Yeah.
It was eerie for sure.
To your point of the AI stuff, like when the Cybertruck exploded in front of the Trump Tower, I was like, this is a joke. When he's like, no, it's real. I'm like, no, it's not real. That you could tell that looks like an overlay of like somebody took one of those effects apps on the phone and then it come down and find out it's real. It's like, damn.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, the world we live in is
crazy.
Nuts. It's crazy. Nuts, dude. Yep. And we're at the point now where we always have to worry about, and it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
We always have to worry about like the other shoe dropping, like what's gonna happen, like the New Orleans thing. And like you never would think that, because so much bad shit already happens in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Like between like all the shit that you hear about happening at Mardi Gras and the crime rate and murder rate. The last thing you would think that would happen in a place like that is like a terrorist attack, right? You think DC, definitely. California, maybe even Texas, maybe even here.
Yeah.
But then when you like, it's like just shit on top of shit on top of shit,
Dude, it's wild, New Orleans. Like I was there 2 years ago, and my Uber driver picked me up, and there was a ton of traffic, so he took all the back ways. And I'm looking at the houses, and they're still like devastated from Katrina.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he's like, people still don't have power, and then of course he started talking about the government officials and all the corruption. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude.
Some people just left.
Yeah.
Some people just had homes that were destroyed and just left.
Yeah.
Insurance claims weren't paying out.
Yeah.
The houses were like their second homes or rental homes or whatever. We've been down there. We went down there, almost 3 years ago. And same thing, because they have these, what they call them, shotgun homes.
Yep.
Where it goes like straight back and everything is like basically right in front of you. And some people have renovated, and we stayed in the Airbnb there.
Yeah.
But a lot of it'll be right next to a house that was still like
Yeah.
looks like it was underwater yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's so crazy.
I wonder if like what's happening in LA and like in North Carolina, like the movie Twisters, which was really good, a sequel that we never knew we needed.
The sequel was good?
Yeah, the sequel was so good. It was really good, dude. Watch it tonight. or interview.
I saw the sequel.
Oh, you did see the sequel?
I saw
you didn't like it?
I hated it.
Oh no,
It was.
why?
I feel like it was entertaining, but
Okay.
I gauge how good a movie is based on if I would be upset if I spent my money to go to a movie theater and saw it.
Okay.
I would be upset if I went to the movie theater and saw that movie.
So you had expectations then, I guess.
Yeah, sure, because the original was so good.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
Yeah, I thought it was like, in my mind, I was like, it's a sequel, it's gonna suck, but it's right now it's free.
so you had low expectations.
Low expectations.
So yeah, you of course you loved it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we didn't feel like we wasted our time. But it was like the scene where the people, the company that I was working for were, as soon as the Twister came through, tore everything up. It was a private company buying up the land, and it was just like, you know, corporations are going to come in, take an opportunity to their advantage of people's devastation.
Yeah,
so I was
sure.
just like, man,
Yeah.
that's shit.
And that happens all, especially like when we get out into like the flatter area of the United States, like the Midwest and stuff like that, or further closer west, Midwest. Like you get that all the time, because you got tornadoes. I mean, we get tornadoes in Ohio, so It's like, we'll come in, we'll get you out of it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
We'll take care of it. We'll pay for you to move.
Yeah.
You're good.
Dude, those people in LA, Wendy was just telling me that their houses are burned down and gone, but they still got to pay the mortgage on that.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
And no fire insurance.
No fire insurance yet.
Yeah, they aren't paying out for fire insurance.
Man.
It's like, isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
It's like it's like me trusting an insurance company when I buy, oceanfront property, but you won't give me flood insurance. I'm willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
But you won't give me flood insurance because that the chances of that happening are greater than what we're secure in supplying you insurance for it.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
So crazy. And on PBD podcast, he was just saying that insurance companies are pulling out of California. I think they're pulling car insurance because of the rate of car thefts and vandalism. And I think insurance companies are pulling out of Florida as well because of all the hurricanes and stuff.
So pulling out, so you won't be able to get insurance. Well, from those particular companies, you won't be able to get insurance in those states.
I think Farmers is the insurance company that pulled out of, is it either State Farm or Farmers? I think it's Farmers that pulled out of California, and I think Florida. They're just, they're losing money. So
wow.
Yeah, when your business, so it's, it's funny. It's like when you think about your insurance, it's supposed to be there to help protect you, and when you need it, they're like, how can we not pay these people out? I'm like, it's so crazy.
So crazy, dude. Crazy. You can't even get insurance in some state. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That should tell you, get out of California.
Right.
Like so many people, and I know there was a big kind of relocating about 3 to 4 years ago. A lot of people were leaving California, going to Texas, Montana, Arizona. They were like, just get out of California, and that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
I mean, even probably even more so now, because now a lot of more like affluent people have lost home. You mean John C. Reilly lost his house? Was it Courtney Cox lost her house? Like there's a list on my Instagram of celebrities that lost their home.
Yeah. I feel bad for them, but man, I feel bad for the people that can't afford, that don't have a second home. Like that is it. It's gone.
Yeah, sure.
And people are like crying, like, and not to slam the celebrities, but I mean, you kind of got nothing. I mean, you lost your personal belongings, but you'll be okay.
Yeah. In comparison to like the normal person, if this happens, you've lost your entire life. And then John C. Reilly's making a movie next week, type thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's, again, like you said, devastation is devastation to everybody, and it sucks no matter who you are.
Right.
But it's just some people out there that are more equipped, if something like this happened, to fall on their feet.
Yeah.
In comparison to other people. So
Yeah.
and it was something with Mandy Moore. Did Mandy Moore like start a GoFundMe
I'm not
for
sure
her brother or brother-in-law or something?
I wasn't. Yeah, I remember hearing it. I don't know if it's Mandy Moore or if it was.
It was definitely Mandy Moore.
It was, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a brother or brother-in-law. There's a GoFundMe because I was like,
Yeah.
why don't you just buy him a new house,
Yeah.
Mandy Moore?
Like, you can do that.
This is
Pretty
us.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So speaking of celebrities, new show coming out in January on Peacock. Diddy. The making of Bad Boy.
Already?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
and Diddy, all the memes or the Instagram, the AI shit with like people burning the Hollywood shit because they say that's where the Diddy evidence is.
Oh man.
So funny, dude.
Jeez.
People are brutal, man. It's like a guy
Brutal.
holding the gas can. It's like the Hollywood sign says Diddy evidence.
Oh man, that's good. Oh wow, it's just crazy that they're already coming out with a show about Diddy. Like that's like any way to make money.
Yeah, I mean, he's big talk right now. I mean, so Diddy is still in prison.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I feel like something's got to happen. Has there been any?
I haven't heard any news other than that show coming out.
Yeah,
That is
he
like
hasn't been to
it.
court. He hasn't, like you just gonna, hold him in jail until what? Until
Yeah,
when?
Until when? Yeah, until somebody gets their hands on him. I guess
A lot of people say, I saw a video of him riding a scooter, like a dirt bike through
In
the prison,
prison?
through the hallways. And
Oh my god.
is that real? Let us know if that's real or not, because I never know. Like I look at it up and I take it in as entertainment value.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing that, I care very little whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
But if I come up here and say and talk about it, I want to at least make sure. I want to have it somewhat vetted, know. But yeah, there's a video of this cat riding a dirt bike through the halls of the prison.
So I'm assuming that he's not in a federal penitentiary that's maximum security or anything.
Oh yeah, he's probably club fed.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
He's making it just like, this is my house now. All right, I'm gonna make it as comfortable as
Diddy.
possible. But
My man Diddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
another.
Are you gonna watch it?
I don't know. Like probably not.
I don't want to go. Part of me doesn't want to watch it because I don't want my memory from that time to now be jaded.
Oh yeah.
Because I have very fond memories of like Diddy, like all like special delivery, like all the like Diddy has a bunch of music. Bad Boy has a bunch of music that like you can jam to, and it sucks that you can't go to a club now and hear like special delivery or Flavor in Your Ear remix. Now you can't hear any of that because nobody wants to play Diddy songs right now.
Nope.
And it sucks.
There was a time where everyone was like against Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
When all that stuff came out. I was like, oh my God. That was just,
I'm always scared that I'm going to be in a bar or a club and just hanging out, just talking, hey, girl, how you doing? Whatever, to my wife, obviously. And like a song come on, like a Diddy song, and I start like this, but nobody else does. And they looking at me like dude, did you not know that?
You're so insensitive.
Like,
what is wrong with you?
Because some songs you can't help but bob to.
I don't know.
Like some of the Michael Jackson. Do you remember that? When that shit came on, I don't care what Michael Jackson did. It was like, I'm moving.
Yeah.
But now you can't do that. R. Kelly, you can't dance to any R. Kelly song. Like, and somebody like R. Kelly has some baby making music and 12 Play and. Man, that whole 12 Play album was a killer. Yeah, it was a killer, and you could not put that album on and not like be ready to procreate. It was nuts. But now you can't even listen to that.
Man, that's why I was into heavy metal, Metallica. I know it's not baby making music, but bro, aggression. Yeah.
I mean, but music. That's what music does, right?
Oh
it,
yeah,
like, evokes some sort of emotional response. Right?
Yep.
So
yep.
Can't do it.
Another preview that I just recently came out with, which I will be watching, not the Diddy, but the Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus.
Yes.
So sticking with the animated stuff, I feel like my point to the animation from Rebels, which I have not finished yet because I got sidetracked with other stuff. Rebels, awesome. And even though when they came up with Ahsoka, they used Rebels storyline to do Ahsoka. They did a good job with it, but I still love Rebels more. So Spider-Man, I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to be like because I love Into the Spider-Verse. Those were so good.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be more kind of in the vein of like X-Men 97, right? So, and X-Men 97 was so good, man. I feel like it's smart for Disney to kind of build off of that and build like this whole animated version of the universe, but that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure if people are looking at it like that. They don't care if it's as good as X-Men 97. They just want it to be good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, they are of the mindset that, man, X-Men 97 was so good. There's nothing that's going to top that. And they're okay with that. And they're okay consuming other content and knowing that they're not going to compare the two or the 3 or the 4, however many they come out with. Because you know, I'm expecting it to be good. I hope it's good. You know, if you already have like a foundation and an infrastructure in place, and you've already had successful projects, so you know you kind of have the formula of what works. Yeah. Right. So hopefully,
you know, when you were saying there's a lot of content out there is so much. And going back to the animated stuff. Did you see Secret Level yet?
I have not seen Secret Level. Somebody else was talking about Secret Level.
Oh, really?
I have another buddy who was telling me, you got to watch Secret Level.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good, and it's so easy to watch because it is just 10 minutes. Like each episode's 10, 15 minutes. But real quick, I forgot. If you listen to our previous episode, I was messing up Will Ferrell's name nonstop with Will Smith. And you try to catch me, you're like... Will Ferrell. I'm like, yeah, Will Smith. Yeah. So Will Smith and Jon Favreau. I'm like, oh man. So correction from last episode.
Isn't it funny though? Like we just talk about Interview with the Vampire. And he knew every name of every character that's in that movie. Everyone. Dude, didn't break, didn't like no hold up or anything.
No.
But he can't remember. He's like, what's my wife's name again? Veronica?
Yeah. It's the current events I can't remember. It's current stuff. It's like stuff that's back there that was what was it like? Okay, so when did Interview with the Vampire come out, the film? It was probably
late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah. So it was still like in a time period where I was like, and I was also really into like it's a version of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's called Vampire the Masquerade. Man. So me and my buddies were really into that too. So that was another really cool game. And I'm curious to know if anybody who's listening, if you've ever actually played Vampire the Masquerade and if that's still a thing.
Is it a card game?
It is not a card game. It is literally like Dungeons and Dragons. You buy books, you create your vampire clans, whether it's Nosferatu or oh my God, it's slipping. See, now it's slipping my head. Brujas, and so anyway, there's also different clans. And actually, they made a TV show in the '90s called I think Vampire the Masquerade. I think only had a couple seasons, but it's based off of White Wolf books. But yeah, there's like a dungeon master, and you just have your characters and character sheets, and you roll the dice, and like those games are so cool. So I wonder, is that a thing that people do anymore? Do people play Dungeons and Dragons? Do they play Interview the Vampire or no, Vampire the Masquerade? So I'm just curious. If you play, let me know.
Yeah,
that'd be good to know. Do you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I never got into any like card games or board or what do you call it? Tabletop games. I did just have a question. Oh, Magic the Gathering.
Oh, Magic the Gathering, yeah.
I did not know that those cards were so expensive and can go for so much money. Yeah. I had no idea. Yeah. My next door neighbor, Anthony, love that guy. He's awesome. He has a Juggernaut card. And he gave it, my name, the Juggernaut and everything. So he gave me the card. He's like, I was like, man, you want to give this up? He's like, this one is not worth that much, but there are some cards out there, $500, $600. Like there are a lot of cards worth that price. And then you get some that are like the thousands of dollars. I had no idea. I didn't even know Magic was that big a thing.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah.
Like bigger than Pokemon?
I think so. I think because Pokemon was more younger. Magic the Gathering was more probably adolescent people who actually could make money and pay for it by themselves, I think. But
Really?
Magic Gathering, I think, is a more diverse age group.
Really?
Pokemon, I don't know if it is as much.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like I don't know what the card is. Who's the one that Logan Paul has? He has like a
Pokemon?
hologram. Yeah, he has evidently a $1 million Pokemon card. It's a hologram Charizard card, and he wears it in like a thick plastic case, and he with a chain on it. He like wears it around his neck.
And it's Logan Paul that has
Logan Paul has it. It's like I want to say a $1 million Charizard.
$5 million.
$5 million.
Dang.
And which one is it? Is it a hologram Charizard? Is that the one?
Yeah, pull up that photo. Wow.
Because I'm like, first of all, how much did you pay for it if it's worth $5 million? Because I can't imagine him paying retail for it.
Oh,
But-
I'm on the wrong.
But,
Dang it. Let me switch this out.
but what is it? I mean,
It is, I think Charizard. It's all
is it
in,
Charizard? Yeah, it's like a gold hologram Charizard something, man. And let us know in the comments if you know exactly what the name is, because I'm not gonna front like I'm well versed in Pokemon at all. But man, it's like just a card. Like, who sets the prices? Who sets the market to say, okay, like, this is Pokemon. Pokemon is, we played these games as kids, but there's this one card.
There's, yeah.
There
it is. Well, it's all in Japanese, I'm assuming. But that's no, that's just Pokemon. Or Pokemon, is that, what's his name?
That's Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Yeah, that's Pikachu.
Yeah, wow.
But that's not the same. Is that the same card? Yeah, I guess it is the same card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. But that's Charizard in the back.
In the back, yeah. Wow. Pikachu, 10.
Lord. We want to trade cards.
Jeez. 5,275,000. Woof. Man.
Lord. That shit would be on the auction block today.
Like,
I'm gonna do with this shit.
yeah. You got a lot of money when you're going to spend over $5 million for a Pokemon card.
Dude, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah. Wow.
But now he has, I mean, I guess you can argue that it's an asset, but it's like, when does that market cap?
Yeah.
And then what happens after that?
Yeah.
Like, is 5 years from now people not going to give a fuck about
Yeah,
Pokemon cards?
right. Yeah.
So
Collectibles, that's the whole thing about collectibles is like, yeah, you may buy it for an investment, but who's gonna buy it back?
Yeah.
For that money.
It's like again, like just the same thing with like baseball, and back in the day, baseball cards were so big. I remember I had a somewhat of a baseball collection. I had some good stuff. I had like a Bo Jackson rookie card. I had like Cal Ripken, like when he won the pitching title, or the what did he win? He won like I think it was a pitching title, right? Some sort of. Anyway,
Yeah.
I had that card. I had a bunch of cool stuff. And then I went into like Marvel cards.
Yeah.
Like, I had all the Marvel cards, and none of those, to my knowledge, ended up being worth a whole lot. But my baseball cards, I had some, and then they were stolen.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody stole them from me when I was moving from one place to another.
So this game you call baseball. What is baseball? Dude, I'm so like, I think I've been to one baseball game, so all this stuff doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and that was around the time. I've never been the hugest baseball fan, but it was like all your friends are doing it, so you do it, and then you become knowledgeable based on like the stuff that everybody knows. Like everyone knows that, Cal Ripken, Bo Jackson, those guys, like Mark McGraw. Everyone knows that if you have anything with their name on it, it's gonna be worth something. You just don't know exactly how much. But then you go and find that out, and then you hang on to that. So.
Didn't Pete Rose just pass away not too long ago?
Pete Rose did just pass away.
Yeah, that was, man, like, I don't know, was his, like, what did he get? He gambled on himself or something like that, or he was gambling? Is that why he got kicked out of baseball?
He threw baseball games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, it's too bad because he was when we were growing up. He was the guy. Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose was the guy.
I mean, there's always, in every era, there's a player that's working to like he's cheating.
Yeah.
There was basketball players that that they'll go in and just to make the bets happen. You know, like they'll say, hey, this player is the bet will be, I bet this player doesn't score 10 points in this game.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to like 8 points, he'll like go out with a stomach bug or some shit like that. That shit happens, bro.
Wow.
Shit happens 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it can be like a shitty player. And you can say, hey, I bet this player doesn't get more than 3 minutes playing time tonight. They'll bet on that. And then the player, he'll be looking up at the clock and come 2 minutes, he'll be like, oh, my ankle.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Wow, people bet on everything then, I guess.
Dude,
huh?
people bet everything.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
That's
betting that's why like the NFL and the NBA, like mostly the NFL, they want like online betting. They wanted no parts of it, but it's such a big business now.
Yeah. Are you into like fantasy football or any of that stuff?
Nah, I used to be, but it for me it became too hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
You gotta keep up with players' injuries, who's in, who's out, who's hurt, who's not. And you got to do that for your entire roster, right?
Yeah.
So I did it a couple years. I actually won money one year,
Nice.
but it was like,
I tried it once
wasn't worth
and I did my draft pick and I didn't know anything about anything. It's been forever since I was into football, but I just happened to get, and maybe we talked about this before, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
And Marshawn.
Beast mode.
Oh man. Beast mode. Yeah. Beast mode.
He was a monster, dude.
But yeah, I was like, nah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. Can't keep up with it.
Did we talk about the Netflix, the debut? I know we talked about a little bit the Netflix Raw on Netflix.
Oh, we touched on it.
We touched on it. Did we touch on the Hulk Hogan thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
with the American beer thing.
Yeah.
So now I don't know why, but now I don't know if it's Netflix or WWE or just American beer. They are going like ape shit with advertisements now. It's like every time I open my feed, it's something about American beer. Something.
Wow.
So I don't know if they were like, well, maybe, because even though it got booed, they've taken it off of Netflix. Like you can't hear it on Netflix. Even if you go to like the replay, because now that Raw's on Netflix, you can go back and watch old shows on Netflix. But you can't hear the boos anymore. So I don't know how much in bed. Like my hope was that because they saw that happening, or my expectation, not gonna say my hope, that they would kind of start parting ways a little bit or creating some distance.
Yeah.
But no, like now every time I open my feed, it's a American beer, great, or was it American beer, Great American Beer commercial with Hulk Hogan in it.
Dang.
Yeah. So
are they trying to like take over the Bud Light market or something? Is that
who knows? There's nobody. There's just some companies out there that's not going to be dethroned.
Yeah.
And Budweiser was it Anheuser? It's not
Anheuser. Yeah, it's Anheuser. Yeah.
They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
there's nobody. It's like there's some companies that just been doing it way too long and just transcends the rest of the industry.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's. McDonald's ain't going nowhere.
No.
I don't care how good Burger King is, how good McDonald's is, or Taco Bell is. Shit ain't going nowhere. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A people always, and Chick-fil-A is, while it's okay, I mean it's fine,
Dude.
but it's still fast food, and it's expensive fast food.
Yeah. Until we moved down here, we never knew anything about Chick-fil-A. And like there's lines for Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
Like
printing money.
Yeah. And they're closing on Sundays.
Yeah.
Like they're still like profitable, and
I think that's actually part of the reason why it is so popular, because when people want a sense of exclusivity, they feel like they can get something and they're like kind of getting over on the system.
Yeah.
And to have that feeling is good. It's like, oh man, I'm kind of special. I'm getting Chick-fil-A. And we've projected that onto our families and our kids and everything. So now our kids want Chick-fil-A and they feel special. Like if you told a kid, let's go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal, that used to be the shit.
Oh yeah.
That used to be the shit. Now you go to like, I want a Happy Meal. Let's go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Get some waffle fries.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think I've only been to Chick-fil-A like 3 times my entire life.
There's a bit of an outcry about the waffle fries though. They changed the formula. I did read
Really?
that. Yeah, it was like a random thing that came up with like Chick-fil-A consumers are upset because they've changed whatever oil they're using. And it's supposed to keep the fries crispier longer. So some sort of chemicals probably in there.
Does it taste the same though?
That I don't know.
If it tastes the same, I get crispy fries. I love crispy fries.
Yeah.
Man, no one has better fries than Raleigh's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Raleigh's.
Okay.
Or if they're, what is it? Checkers. Checkers is in other parts of the country. It's Checkers. But
Wow.
man, those seasoned fries, bro.
Yeah.
Bruh, they're so good.
They're
the best.
bussin'.
You do. There's no fry better than that. No fast food fry better than that. People sometimes say Burger King's fries are nah. Raleigh fries are untouchable.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I like Five Guys fries. Five Guys, and they do get soggy though.
Yeah,
but they're real potato. You can see them making them. But you know what's a good burger? I just had not too long ago. I can't remember the name of it. It's up on Columbus, on the corner of Columbus and Virginia Beach Boulevard, Town Center.
Columbus Station,
It's-
and it's a burger joint.
It's a burger joint. Yeah. Shoot, it'll come to me. Good burgers though.
Yeah.
You know where Cava is, and
Yeah.
there's that in that corner. It's I can't remember what it's called.
I didn't even know there's a burger joint there.
Yeah, and somebody at the gym was actually talking about it. Like these girls that were like big power lifters, like, oh, you got to try their burgers. They're so good. I was like, well, it's still fast food.
You know,
But-
powerlifters eat, bro. Like
Yeah.
if you wanna know where to eat, like great places to eat from people who eat a lot.
Yeah.
Don't ask somebody who's like overweight. Yeah. Ask somebody who's like a power lifter.
Powerlifter, yeah.
because they eat a lot and they're like they put that shit to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild seeing these girls at the gym that are just like crushing it. Like just these weights. I'm like, it's impressive. I don't know if it's I don't know if I want Wendy to look like that, but I'm just saying it's like
Yeah.
it's freaking impressive.
There's something attractive about women who has like muscle tone though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like more than average muscle tone.
I mean, there's mad respect for that.
Yeah, right.
for,
Like because it takes a lot of work, and more so for women because it is a little more difficult for
Yeah.
women to consistently put on a large amount of muscle. Now, you know, I mean, like the female form is beautiful in itself.
Yeah.
I don't care, you know, whatever it is, but. You know, the fact that you do that much work to get to that place is attractive from a character standpoint. That's a lot of work.
Yep.
You know, so
Yeah. If anybody's fans of Extreme, they got a song called "Girls," and their video's pretty cool. It's like, they kind of like borrowed Van Halen's, or not Van Halen's, like Motley Crue, the song "Girls, Girls, Girls," but the video's cool. It's like just all these women dancing, and they're all different shapes and sizes and colors, and it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool message.
Oh, yeah.
But-
I do have a question for you, kind of off subject. If I wanted to learn how to play the drums, what's my best?
Oh,
What's the best way to go about it? Do you get an instructor or do you like because like golf, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go and want to learn how to play golf, of course you want to get a golf coach, but there's no substitute for you getting out there and just hitting balls, right?
Yeah.
Like Tiger said, he eats 1,000 balls a day.
yeah.
Like he makes connections with 1,000 balls a day, no matter what.
Yeah.
So is that the same type when it comes to music and reading music and learning how to play drums in that fashion? Is that the best way to get like an instructor or to just learn the basics and then just get in, just practice?
Yeah, I will always side on the get an instructor and learn from a professional.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would say just get a pair of sticks and just start hitting the table.
Yeah.
And then just learning rhythms, because it's like music. Drummers are going to kill me for this. Drummers aren't musicians.
What?
They're not musicians.
Whoa. I feel like the drummer is like, everybody wants to like, and everyone admires the drummer.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
And like the lead singer, like, but I think guess every instrument has its own like fan base and groupie base, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like the guitar players, this shit.
Yeah.
But I've seen shirts that say like, I'm sleeping with the drummer type thing, you know?
Everyone's like Tommy Lee. Yeah, drummers. I think drummers are percussionists. They don't have to read music. They don't have to know anything about key changes and modulations and
Really?
yeah, they don't.
So you don't have to learn how to read music to be a drummer,
Not
a good
at all.
drummer.
No, they don't.
Really?
They don't even read music.
No.
So drum music or drum.
I'm more interested in him.
Yeah, so they don't have to learn notes, scales, nothing. It's just and that's why I say it, sarcastically. They're not musicians because you're not learning to play music or melody or so you're the backbone of the band, or you're the backbone of what the musicians work off of. But yeah, it's so I did take some lessons in school, and they give you this little practice pad, and you just learn how to do paradiddles and just how to hold the sticks and create the rhythm. And But then if you know, there's no reason to get a whole kit because it's like you don't even know what to do with the kit.
Yeah.
So, and then there's other things like what percussion do you want to play? Is it the drums? Is it like Latin drums or rock drums or R&B? And then there's electric kits that you can get that are you don't have to play loud then because you just put your headphones on and you won't bother everybody in the house. So,
I'm gonna learn how to play drums. Anyone out there who want to teach me how to play drums, I'll teach you how to fight. Teach me how to play drums. Be a good trade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be a good trade. You're all going to benefit from that.
Yeah, man. I think it's cool, like to see, like when you see like Travis Barker or like you said, Tommy Lee or like other like prominent drummers who just get out there and just. I feel like the drummer kind of dictates. Now people might get mad at me, but I feel like a good drummer kind of dictates the flow of the show song by song.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know it takes the complete, you know, the crew, the band to create the sound
right.
that we like. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the energy of the drummer kind of influences the energy of the whole set for me. And maybe that's just me. It's just kind of what I hear because it's like, especially like the bass line and the percussion. And I just think it's like just cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's always going to be the guitar player because I love playing guitar, and I'll always like my favorite band is Extreme, and Nuno is like the guitar god right now. But his bass player is badass, and he plays the guitar as well. And the drummer is amazing, but my ear always goes to the guitar. But I will say that in our little band, James Dutton is our drummer, and the dude.
What's the name of your band?
The Hip Doctors.
Come on, dog! Hell yeah, fucking Hip Doctors.
Hip Doctors.
No, you got to put it out there.
Yeah, the Hip Doctors.
When y'all gonna do a show?
We're
gonna perform,
dude. So get a load of this. Our first gig, and we played at the Wynn, Las Vegas Wynn, in front of.
That was your first gig?
That was our first gig in front of 300 people. Now, granted,
holy shit,
we were there for a competition, and we were either competing in it or judging it. So we had the crowd was already there. They weren't there for us, but I mean, I always brag to my friends.
But they didn't leave when you got on.
They didn't leave. They didn't leave.
Yeah.
They didn't leave.
That was awesome. Your first gig.
Yeah.
Most people are performing in front of 20 people at like Joe's Crab Shack or some shit.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And people think we're rock stars, and that was like my goal when I talked to my buddies. Like my band of brothers is like Chris and Juan and James and Todd. So the two vocalists are in San Francisco Bay Area. James, the drummer, is in Chicago, and Todd, the bass player, is in Houston, and I'm here in Virginia. And we come up with set lists. We just share the set list. We're like, okay, we got a gig. We play a gig like at least once a year. Now it's not always the Wynn Las Vegas, but usually it's down in Tampa area, and it's for a private event, and they love it, man. Our students love it. They love dancing to it, and we're more entertaining than we are great musicians. And so it's like we just put on a good show. You know, we're fun, and James, you'd really like him. I mean, he's flashy drummer, and he puts his head down and starts banging away. And
that's cool as shit, dude.
Yeah.
Any desire to like start something here? Like, would you like get a group of guys together here and do something?
Dude, I would love to do that.
Yeah, man.
I would totally
There's a bunch of music. There's so many, and now like the people who know, especially if you're in the like in the service industry, but there's so many great musicians in this area, and they either do like just solo stuff, they do like one like here and there, they'll do stuff, or they're part of multiple bands. But they just like their genre of music might be this one thing, but they play with a band that just because they love to play, so they'll do a whole different genre just to get the reps in. So
shout out to Jason Kale. He's a local musician here in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I know Jason Kale.
Dude is so good. I took a couple lessons with him.
Yeah.
He is so talented, so good, and such a good dude. Yeah,
he has a brother, right? Brother named Scott.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna put people business out there, but
but Jason, he's just had a kid himself, and he and his wife had a child, and he put his music on hold for a little bit. But I saw on Instagram he's back in the studio, and if anybody gets a chance, he plays a lot on Shore Drive there. Can't remember what that bar is, but he gigs all over the place. But he does acoustic gigs. He does. He's got a band that They do like fusion. I can't remember what he said. It's like Louisiana fusion blues / rock.
Oh.
But the dude can shred too, man. He's legit.
That sounds awesome,
So,
man.
Jason
Man,
Cale.
give that dude, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, one last band question. So, and I know like there's no other component more important than another component when it comes to a band, but if you were in the middle of a set and one instrument went down, what would you prefer that to be?
The singer.
So, really?
I mean, that would be my preference. But
like if you lose bass or you lose electric or you lose drums, like all of those things are more pivotal.
Gosh, that's a great question. I mean, if you lose the rhythm section, that's tough. So whether it's the bass or the drummer, that's going to be tough. Because the bass player, I will say, is probably the most vital role for a band in that he can keep carrying on, so the singer can keep going. The drummer, like people in the audience, will still appreciate the music. If it's just the drummer, you just, I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
Sound flat.
But that's a good one. Like if something had to be given up. Now I will say there are bands that will only have like a guitar player, a bass player, a singer, or a drummer and 2 guitar players. They don't have a bass player. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it just changes the type of music that it's going to be. So, yeah. But if it was my band, I'd be like the singer. sorry, Chris Wan. And I only say that because
our singer sucks.
It's.
Oh shit! I'm about to get Taras in trouble.
I'm gonna cut this one out. No, I was just saying. Speaking to the musicians out there, you'd rather jam with the band and like and just go in and out it, because the singer is like the final piece. It's the piece that the audience connects with. It's it's what everyone is there for the most part. But all the musicians are like, they want to jam with each other. So the bass player, the guitar player, and the drummer, like that's the core of the band. And then the singers are, and you always hear that, like, why do bands break up? Because the singer's got a bad attitude, or like the singer splits off, like Creed. Scott Stapp, got mad at the guitar player, so he did a solo thing, and then the rest of the musicians in Creed, they did their own thing. And same thing with Axl. Axl freaked out on the band, and the band kept going, and Axl did his own thing. So there's sometimes, unless the singer is a musician as well, I feel like they're a little more, they're in a different headspace.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So like, what's the Journey? Like Journey. What's the singer's name? Oh man, I'm so ashamed of myself right now.
I forgot the new singer.
I mean, he's anyway, but when he broke off, was able to do his own thing, and then Journey got a guy that sounded like him. And so they were their own cover band. It was a funny thing, but yeah.
Man. All right,
dude, get on the drums, man. We'll start a band.
Yeah. Let's get on the drums, man. Anybody out there? I want to learn how to play the drums. I've wanted to for years, and it's funny, when I was in high school, one of my best friends, Alex, he played for church, and it's like everybody in the family. It was so annoying because everybody in the family knew how to play shit.
Yeah,
like he played the drum, they played the keyboard, they played the guitar. And I was like, man, I just want to know how to play an instrument, and they all made it look so easy. And then Alex, he was like, teach you how to play the drums, man, but you should start with the piano. I was like, why? I want to learn how to play the drums, and I wish I would have went through the process. Because like he was trying to explain to me, like, you want to know how, and rhythm and how to read music and this, like that. And now that you told me that you don't have to read music to play the drums, now it makes more sense why he wanted to do it that way. And I wish I would have done it.
Yeah.
Now I'm old as shit.
A lot of great musicians don't know how to read music.
Yeah.
That's a fact. There's I can't remember the guitar player's name, but there's a lot of great guitar players that just don't know how to read music. I don't think Eddie Van Halen, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if I'm wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure Eddie Van Halen didn't read music. No, he could read music, but he didn't work within the confines of scales and what do they call them? modal changes. So he wouldn't be like, okay, this is going to be an A minor mixolydian and something or other. He just made music and just stayed outside of like, if it sounds good, that's what they did. And a lot of musicians will do that. And same thing with drummers. Like if the beat is cool, like unless you're doing jazz where you really need to know time signatures and key changes and follow the musicians because they're going to do this thing. And dude, it can get super complicated. So adding music theory on top of it is another layer of complexity that just will get in the way for somebody who's just trying to start, not at a young age. It's just, you don't got a lot of time to put into it. So where you should put your time into just hitting it and just developing that muscle memory and get that guidance that way. That's my thought.
All right. Well, I'll put it out there. We'll see what happens. I might suck at it, but make sure you subscribe. We really appreciate it, you guys, and all of the viewership and the listens. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Do all the stuff. Do the stuff.
All the things. On behalf of myself, I'm Antoine Brett.
And Taras Deniseko.
We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.